Welcome, Clay from Platinum Asset Management. Today we just want to help our clients understand a little bit about cryptocurrencies, and there's a lot of talk in the press at the moment about Bitcoin as an example, and we're just trying to help our clients understand what it is.
Okay. Well, let's try and think about simply what these products are. And I think a good way to start is just to think about, all right, well, let's compare it to the currencies that we know today. So I would describe Bitcoin, or the blockchain that sits behind Bitcoin, is, what is this? It is actually a big database that is administered by a network. But let's use the comparison. So today we have money in the bank. How much money we have in the bank and how that changes when we spend it or receive it, it's maintained on a database. You know, it's ones and zeros. And we put our trust in maintaining that database. We place our trust in a bank. And behind that bank sits the Reserve Bank of Australia. So we essentially put our trust that that database is going to be managed by a central, or maybe one or two central institutions. And with that trust, it gives those institutions power. Now, we probably don't think about it too much in a developed country like Australia, but if you're in Venezuela and you're used to maybe the government acting not always in your best interests, or you have, different bodies appropriating your money or taxing it away, that could be a concern. So what's the beauty of Bitcoin then? So Bitcoin is the same thing. It is a database of, all right, well, who owns the coins today? And when I pay for something, we need to record that in the database. But instead of that database being managed by one central body, it is managed by a network of individual computers, and these are called nodes. And what Bitcoin is essentially just set up is a big security function. So to make changes to that database, it is very, very difficult. You have to solve a very difficult mathematical problem, which essentially means for anyone to go in and change that database illegally or create new Bitcoins illegally would be incredibly difficult. You would need to employ a huge amount of computer power. And that's where the trust element comes in. And suddenly, because the database is controlled by not one party, but many parties, no one person has power to go in and change things, appropriate money, tax it away. So I think that's the central beauty of Bitcoin that appeals to people.
Okay.
That's the underlying technology.
Okay. But then, as you say, there's the blockchain behind the currency, which is something completely different again.
Absolutely. So when we start thinking about, all right, well, what do we think of Bitcoin? Where's the value? So we would first say, well, the blockchain technology, that's very, very interesting.
So what is the blockchain technology?
It comes back, it's that database of being able to essentially record an asset and have that managed centrally. And have it managed securely. And we can think about different applications for that. So today we have a land registry, and that's managed by a central body. Well, we could move to a system of blockchain managing who owns the land and transactions. We have we have a custodian service around, well, who owns certain stocks, who owns certain shares, who manages and keeps those records of when they get traded to another person. Well, those systems could move to a blockchain style database and managed ledger. So that is interesting to us, and that to us has long-term future. The problem is when we start thinking about the currencies themselves, we run into a lot of issues because, how do we value these currencies? So what are the problems? So first of all, using blockchain and for a currency purpose, first we have the landscape is changing very fast. So we have hundreds of new coins being issued each year. Second, there's very vast technological problems with each of these coins in how they could maybe be used as a currency on a wider scale going forward. And I'll give an example. So Bitcoin is the clear leader. But because of how the Bitcoin system is constructed today, you can only transact a maximum of 7 Bitcoins per second. compare that to the transactions going through the Visa network today, where we're transacting roughly 2,000 transactions per second, or during the Christmas shopping period, 25,000 transactions per second. You can just see that, look, we can't move to Bitcoin is not going to be a satisfactory situation. There's other problems where it takes up to 10 minutes to 30 minutes to actually authorise that the transaction has happened. We're used to a kind of a tap and go style economy. We can't be waiting 10 minutes to, whether I've paid Woolies or not.
Yeah.
So these are technological problems that still need to be solved, and because of that, it's not actually clear that Bitcoin is going to be the leader in 3 years' time, or it may be another variant of it. And then finally, we have the hype aspect. How do we value these coins? It's very, very difficult, and all we know is that there's a huge amount of hype around the systems today, which generally is not a good recipe for an attractive investment. So from that regard, we would encourage investors to be very cautious around the currency aspect. And look, if you are interested in investing in that, make it a very small part of your portfolio, and please do your homework. Blockchain long term, we're quite enthusiastic about.
Terrific. Clay, thank you very much for the explanation, and hopefully the mums and dads or whoever's watching will be better informed about it.
Thank you.